begin to announce our senior cheerleaders as they come out and join their parents on the field. First up,
You got everything going?
Eileen Dermott.
We welcome you to Edward Byrne Memorial Field in North Massapequa, New York, where tonight the Red Devils of Plainedge will be taking on the Knights of Floral Park. I'm Dylan Butler. We want to send it down to the field for a special senior night ceremony honoring the senior cheerleaders and the members of the Plainedge football team as well.
Chris is there, so we're good. All right. So Sweeney got this, right? Yeah. Right, and I got you. Yeah, when you need to move. Yeah.
So that's the senior night ceremonies here at Plainedge. The Red Devils will get back to warming up, as will Floral Park. We'll take a commercial break, and we'll have the pregame festivities starting in about 15 or 20 minutes. You're watching this Nassau Conference 3 showdown on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Long Island champion, Plainedge.
Welcome back to Plainedge, where the Red Devils about to make their way through the helmet. Here they come. Red Devils coming in with a 4-1 record, top seed preseason in Nassau Conference 3, taking on the Knights of Floral Park at 3-1. Dylan Butler here with Mike Spina. And Mike, certainly it's an interesting matchup. You've got Plainedge, a team that only loss of the year to Manhasset in Week 3. They followed it up with wins against Mineola Bethpage. For folks who haven't seen Plainedge this year, it's not the same team, that same incredibly dominant team that was a year ago that won the Long Island Championship, but still obviously a force to be reckoned with here in Nassau Conference 3 in Floral Park, a team 2, number 4 preseason. They also lost to Manhasset, so obviously the Indians, the top seed right now going into the postseason, but they've bounced back with 3 big wins, only conceding 21 points combined in those 3 victories.
Yeah, Floral Park's off to a real good start. There's some youth on that team right now. Coach Pickett has done a great job getting these young guys ready to play. And Plainedge is Plainedge, and I wouldn't, put too much emphasis on that loss to Manhasset. Manhasset coming down from Conference 2 this year, and Coach Iaquinta does a great job, especially early in the year. But Plainedge is still the team to beat until somebody knocks them off their championship. And with a shortened season in the spring with COVID and all the different things and obstacles that are going on this year, teams sometimes are missing guys and everything else. But come playoff time, starting next week, you're going to see all the teams that are at their best.
Yeah, Mike, Plainedge came into the season 23-1 in their last 2 years. Of course, winning the Long Island Championship in 2019, and interesting to note here today, a bit of a change, or maybe a return, we should say, at quarterback. Travis Shaver, who's been banged up, wasn't a starter last week. Joe Iadivio was the starting QB a week ago in that backyard brawl against Bethpage. Shaver did see a series at the end of the first half, but he is healthy, at least certainly healthy enough to play here today. So it's back to Shaver at quarterback for a Plainedge team that's been banged up, but now looking to be healthy heading into the postseason.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing, is that at the end of the year you're healthy. And, Shaver, he's a real good quarterback. He's big, he's strong. He's probably more of a prototypical running back than he is a quarterback. He can throw the ball, but he's not the quarterbacks that they've had in the past. But he does a great job with running the offense. And, they don't have the stars. The Quinlans are gone and everything else. They're more balanced this year than they've been in the past. I'm curious to see this matchup right now, because there's a lot more on the line, I think, going into this game for Floral Park than there is for Plainedge. I think Plainedge is probably locked in as the 2 seed. But if a Floral Park victory, they would probably be coming back here next week for a rematch. And if a Floral Park loss, they probably bump down to the 4 seed with a rematch versus Manhasset.
Not sure who's a happier Shaver right now, whether it's number 12 you see there, Travis, who is back behind center, or his dad, Rob, who said, finally, my son's talking to me again, because they've been more precautionary with holding him out. But obviously, just the last name Shaver means you're ultra competitive, so Travis has wanted to get out there and play this entire time. But dad, head coach, there you see him, Rob Shaver, in his 24th season at the helm. He opted more for being safe and cautious and holding Travis out, but Travis back in the lineup this week.
Yeah, he's being a coach. He's more than a dad. He's being a coach. He's doing what's right for his football team. And if it means keeping his son out, he's got to do what's best for the Plainedge football team. And trust me, he's got his son's best interests at heart. It's a very, very good relationship. It's been happening for the year. So, you could see him probably talking to his players right now and ready to go.
So we'll look at the players now to watch. First for Plainedge, it's actually Joe Iadivio. You see him there. Joe was the starting quarterback a week ago, but his stats are ridiculous. He's the leading receiver, 6 receptions for 223 yards, 4 touchdowns. He also has 12 carries for 87 yards. As a quarterback in spot duty, he was 6 of 8 for 102 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 INT. We'll flip the page now and look at Floral Park. And, Shaver's in his 24th season. Ron Pickett, one of the younger coaches, certainly here. Here's his top player, a guy that you know well, Joaquin Laredo. This is a Division I prospect. Certainly, he's got all the tools. He's only a junior, but at 6'3", 265, a 2-year starter. The interest for him, LIU Post, Bryant, and Delaware. The interesting thing that Pickett said is he reminds him of Anthony Catapano. You remember him from a few years back, a standout guard or an offensive lineman at Cary High School where Pickett was an assistant coach, and Catapano went on and played at Stony Brook, and that's maybe a school that could have their eye on a kid like Laredo.
Oh, I'll tell you, Joaquin's in my class. He's in my phys ed class. He is one of the nicest kids in the world. And I'll give you another little comparison to Joaquin. He reminds me of Timon Parrish, who I coached, who's now with the Washington Redskins, who also went to Stony Brook as a preferred walk-on and earned a full-ride scholarship after his first year. And let me tell you something. Every teacher that I've ever talked to about Joaquin, they love him. He's respectful. He's smart. He's going to be able to write his own ticket pretty much wherever he wants to go. And, I'm looking forward to actually watching a football game because I see him. I talk to him. I've seen him on film. We talk every single day in my class. Now I get to see him live, so I'm kind of excited about that.
The funny thing that Pickett says, too, is that so many of the highlights, and you see it here on Varsity Media, we've got our Plays of the Week, and so often, Chris Naronis is a big part of that because he could break a big play at any instant, the quarterback for Floral Park. But Pickett says usually 5 yards right behind him is Laredo, just kind of guiding him, making sure that he gets into the end zone. He's got that motor and speed despite that big size that he has as well. Naronis, an interesting case as well, the Floral Park starting quarterback, number 4, 2-year starter a year ago, got hurt. Running for a touchdown against Mineola, popped his hip. Pickett says, I've never seen that in a kid before, but, he's a terrific kind of 3-pronged running attack with Naronis. Naronis can throw it. He's not asked to throw it a lot, and Pickett said maybe that he wants to see them throw it a little bit more, but when you got a running back like Jack Nolan, who will go on and play Drexel lacrosse, certainly you give him the ball, you've got the young but experienced line, and you just let him go and let him run, and it's been a recipe for success at this point.
There's athletes on the field for both teams, and I'll talk Floral Park a little bit with Naronis. He's a 3-sport athlete. His best sport might even be baseball. He's a varsity basketball player. He's a varsity baseball player, and he's a varsity quarterback. He's an absolute great kid. He works hard. He's got that motor. And he never quits. And, this is a treat for me being able to, watch these kids that I teach every single day.
The funny thing about Naronis, too, is he's the QB, right? But because he's been banged up before and because he's so valuable at a QB, he's not really playing defense. But Pickett says he might be a better tackler than he is even a quarterback. He's just not in that position. This is a big game for Floral Park. You mentioned some of the reasons why. The last meeting between these two teams was in the postseason a year ago. You mentioned a lot of those studs, Valari being maybe the key for Plainedge, who is now at the University of Michigan. 56-20 win for Plainedge. In that one, Shaver, 17 carries, 210 yards and a touchdown. The aforementioned Valari, 126 yards and a touchdown in that Nassau Conference 3 quarterfinal. Pickett said from that moment, and maybe you've heard it from these kids in your class, that was the impetus. The Floral Park guys said, we now know how strong we have to be to have success. So that was the hitting the weight room right from the very beginning. Even during quarantine, they all found different, unique ways, and we'll talk about that during the broadcast of getting out there, getting stronger, getting bigger, and getting ready for this game. Plainedge kicking off, and here we go in this Nassau Conference 3 showdown. Floral Park, the push goes back a little bit, but they'll start at their own 29-yard line. Let's take a look at the Floral Park offense of starters. And it starts again. Look at the boys up front. For Floral Park, you've got Rysick, Eastman, Conboy, Grassi, and Laredo. Again, your quarterback, Noronis. Nolan, your key running back. Powell, Magyar, Olin, and Martella are your wide receivers. 1st and 10 from the 29-yard line for Floral Park. An option to the right side, getting around to the edge and getting out towards midfield. Big run on 1st down for Bonacura.
And Matt's a junior. He's another one that has speed. I mean, the one thing that I'm going to say about Floral Park is they're athletic, and they got speed. And a lot of the reason is these kids are playing multiple sports, and they're, whether it's lacrosse, basketball, or baseball, basketball, there's athletes on the field. And that's a great job coming out, running option on the first play.
And Pickett even threw a little wrench our way because Bonacor wasn't in his starting lineup. And there the defense comes up big for a loss. We'll take a look at those defensive starters now for Plainedge. It starts up front with La Scala, Everding, Morello, and Tuozo. It's a 4-3 defensive set. For the Red Devils, linebackers Mosia, Antonacci, and Pepe, and the defensive secondary of Cavalieri, Stevens, Iadivio, and Franger. 2-yard loss on that 1st down opportunity. So 2nd and 12 from the Floral Park 48. Noronis, again, options out towards the right side. That's Nolan getting out towards about the 47-yard line of Plainedge.
And it went right back to the play that they ran on 1st down to start the game. And right now you're starting to see Floral Park running to their sideline. They're running short side. They're running to their short side. And they're also running behind Laredo.
It's just wrong right now. I'm just trying to
3rd and 7. So Pickett mentions he'd like to see his team throw the ball more, and they've worked on it a little bit more this week in practice, and here's an opportunity with trips left for Noronis. Back to pass, under pressure. Out of the pocket, rolls right, gets the 1st down, running more out to the 32-yard line.
And there you see the athletic ability by Noronis. The pocket breaks down a little bit. He gets outside, uses his speed, and picks up the 1st down. This is a great job by him.
Oh, he's coming back to that.
Yeah, you see he just ducked under and then used that same sideline. They've been running right, really, this entire first series. Perhaps not a surprise. That's the side that Laredo and Grassi are. They'll go the other way now, and a good tackle at the 30-yard line. That was Antonacci, his 28th tackle of the year.
And he's the key to this defense. Anytime you run a pro 4-3, your middle linebacker has to be able to make plays. The D-line is going to do what they have to do by occupying gaps and hoping that the linebackers will fill those gaps and make tackles.
Antonacci, not a surprise on Shaver's team, a wrestler, but also a baseball player as well. 2nd and 9 from the 30. Noronis turns, under pressure, throws, left sideline, one-handed attempt, no good. Pepe had the pressure on Noronis.
And you saw they were trying to run a bootleg right there, and that was a great job by number 7, Dylan Pepe, who actually did not give up outside contain. And you see he's right in Chris Noronis' face. He causes the bad pass.
So another 3rd and long situation for Floral Park on this opening drive. It is a 3rd and 9 from the Plainedge 30. Pickett says, an interesting, I didn't notice in pregame, but they do have a really good kicker. We'll see if they have to go to him. Good block by Nolan. Noronis goes end zone. Oh, in and out of the hands. Such an opportunity for Floral Park. An incomplete pass, though, sets up a 4th down.
That was a great ball. And I don't want to say that it should be caught. This is high school football. But, I mean, you couldn't put that ball out there anymore. He does have Cameron Powell's their kicker. They also have Senan Price, who's one of their kickers. But I don't think he's going to be looking for a 48-yard field goal, so I'm almost positive he's going to go for it here.
He is. And Price, though, does regularly, Pickett said, kick 50s in practice. Of course, practice and game are different. And in and out So a turnover on downs, a good opportunity there for Floral Park. Narona's throwing a good ball, but the defense steps up in a big way to break up this play.
Yeah, once again, he just rolls out of the pocket, and he puts the ball right there where it's supposed to be caught. Just lays it up. Defense was good. Could have been stripped right there, and that's a missed opportunity for Floral Park right now. But you have to like the way they started. They did move the ball down the field. They did have opportunities. So they got to still feel pretty good about that first drive.
3 Plainedge defenders there. So Floral Park turns it over on downs. Plainedge 1st and 10 from their own 30. The run goes left. That's Joe Leone, one of the seniors we saw before the game, honored. And we'll take a look at the Plainedge offense now, the offensive starters. And again, we mentioned a change at quarterback, and it's back to the usual with Shaver. You see Leone, Gentile, Cavalieri, Lascala, Iadivio, and the big boys up front, Chadwick, Witten, Everding, Petzold, and Kuna. 4-yard gain, 2nd and 6. Run goes left. That's Pepe, who had a hat trick of touchdowns a week ago against Bethpage. He's hit for a loss. Let's take a look at the Floral Park defense. They run a 3-4 set up front. Turk, Laredo, and Grassi. Linebackers of Russell, O'Hara, McGovern, Estamable, and the secondary of Montreal, Olin, Bonacore, and Nolan. So this is one of those situations that Pickett said is a key for Floral Park. They've got to win third downs offensively and defensively, and they want to make it 3rd and long. They want to force Shaver to throw the ball. He does just that, goes sideline, and it's out of bounds. So if you are Pickett on that sideline, you like what you see. Even though you were stopped on that first drive, your first drive offensively and defensively, you got the job done. I
think the defensive drive was much more impressive than the offensive drive. I mean, you're looking at a 3-and-out right now, all right? And, people might say that's a bad ball. It's not a bad ball. He was covered. He threw the ball over his head, the only place that would have been caught. So that's not a bad ball. But the key to this defense is going to be Laredo playing the nose guard.
Bonacore is deep for Floral Park. High snap. The punt is off. It's a short one. And it takes a nice Plainedge bounce, though, right inside the 30-yard line.
With that roll, that's a 35-yard punt.
So we go back as Floral Park back on offense. And again, in our conversation with Ron Pickett, he said the number one thing about where we are right now is that we are healthy. He said that we've slowly brought the team along. Now we're starting to ramp it up last couple of weeks. They've responded well. He's happy with where the run game is, but where he's not totally happy with the passing game right now. And part of the reason, there you see Pickett in his 4th season at a Cary High School. Part of the reason, he says, is because they've been so good running the ball, but also conditions. It's obviously this is a unique season, and you're playing in the spring. It's different conditions, maybe a little bit windier than you're used to. So he said a lot of his game conditions don't set up well for the run. 1st and 10 from the 29. Handoff, bursting up the middle. Looks like that was Nolan, and he'll get out to about the 31-yard line. 2-yard gain for Nolan. One of many players, and it's a recurring theme for these Knights. He's bulked up in the offseason. Almost 400 yards on 48 carries, and there you see him pushing ahead, which means about 8.5 yards per carry. They also throw the ball to Nolan out of the backfield.
Well, he's a tremendous athlete. He's playing Division I lacrosse, and like I said, there's athletes all over the place for Floral Park.
2nd and 8. And now Naronis does throw the ball, and it's an incomplete pass. Pass intended for Magyar, the junior sniffer. His primary job this year has been more of a blocker, Magyar, but the intended target there, and that one was incomplete.
And that's a long throw from the hash all the way to the opposite numbers. And they're looking for matchups right now. They're looking to get a one-on-one or a two-on-two. And I think there was a little bit of confusion on that play because I don't know if that was supposed to go to Magyar. I think it was supposed to go to the outside, and Magyar was supposed to block.
So 3rd and 8 from the 31-yard line. Noronis checks his wrist for the play call. Back to pass, gets a good block. This time they go back to Magyar, cuts inside at the 32, to the 35, to the 40, to first down. Some yak from Magyar.
That's a great run after catch. All right, he was bottled up, made a cut inside, made 2 people miss, as you watch right here. And, you know, that's a long throw again. And I told you, Noronis has an arm. Floral Park will be able to throw the football, especially being that we're in the spring. And at the end of the year, the weather's going to be a lot nicer than if we're in the fall.
At the look at the flag across the way from us, it's a slight breeze towards Noronis, who's taken down, looks like for a loss of 1. Stevens with the tackle, the senior, his 19th tackle of the year, his 5th tackle for a loss.
Yeah, that looked like a little bit of a mix-up right there. You see him, Noronis, looking like he was going to hand the ball off, and there was nobody there. So I'm going to say that was a little bit of a mix-up.
Travis Shaver also in on the tackle. 2nd and 11. Noronis, the keeper, and he's taken down again. Another tackle for a loss, and it's Stevens again.
Well, we're starting to hear that name a lot right now. And again, I think this is a missed play. If you watch what happens here, they run motion away. It looks like the running back goes the wrong way.
So Stevens, that is no gain. So he's got 2 tackles on the first 2 plays here for -1 yards, and it's a 3rd and long for Floral Park. They've got trips right, twin receivers at the bottom of your screen. Nolan motions. He acts as the blocker. The pass is complete, but good job wrapping up by the Plainedge defenders. So it's going to be well short of the first down marker out to the 45-yard line.
Yeah, that's a good defensive set for Plainedge. Floral Park came out in an empty set, little jet motion, tried to run a little slip screen, and Plainedge defended that very, very well. And it looks like Stevens, again, was one of the players in the tackle.
Leone and Cavalier are deep for this punt, and it is a good one. Bounced and fielded at about the 20. Cutting inside out to the 35-yard line, so a good 15-yard return there, and that sets up Plainedge. It's been so far a game of field position for both of these teams, and Plainedge, we mentioned it before, we had the game on the Varsity Media Sports Network, coming off an emotional win, always is, when you play Bethpage in that backyard brawl that they have here in this area. Certainly the football around here, North Massapequa, Farmingdale, Massapequa, Bethpage, solid. But that was a big win for Plainedge on the road at Bethpage, always is, and they hope to bring that emotion into this one as well.
Backyard brawl.
That's right. 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. Handoff on first down. That's Pepe out to about the 40-yard line. Dylan Pepe, a junior, 22 carries, 174 yards, 3 touchdowns, all of which came in that aforementioned backyard brawl. Dylan Pepe, number 7.
And you saw what Plainedge did. They came out, they ran a double tight A set with a power eye and went straight at them. All right, and they picked up 5 yards. Now they're running, they go back to spread.
There goes Shaver, and he goes right at the teeth of that Floral Park defense. Doesn't get much, though. Good job defensively by Floral Park.
Yeah, they were running power. Great job by Floral Park's defensive end on that. Kevin Russell did a real nice job taking on the blocker and coming off the block, shedding him, and making a good football play right there. That's a good tackle.
This is the most manageable 3rd down yet for Plainedge, a 3rd and 3 from their own 42-yard line. Shaver under center for the first time. Hands off, and that's a first down run. Leone, the senior, He's got great speed, but you love the cutback as well.
Yeah, we teach that at Massapequa. It's just a simple jump cut, back under the center, but it wasn't a power eye, straight eye, pulling a guard. Watch a jump cut right there. And that jump cut gained him an extra 3 yards, which was now the result of a first down.
That was Bonacore, who he cut inside of a solid safety. Back to the back to the running game. There goes Leone into the secondary, and another first down run for Joe Leone.
And, you're starting to see a little bit of momentum switch here. They're going right at Floral Park's defense. They're not trying to run sideline to sideline. It's a lot more downhill running right now. Again, guard pulls, and that's a great block, okay, by Pat Wyden. And, they're starting to get some momentum.
Didn't get a chance to ask Rob Shaver this question, but last year he said they call Wyden potato. And he had a huge block there. First down run. That was Shaver on the keeper.
And Floral Park did a pretty good job stringing that out. But again, it's downhill right now. Everything is downhill. All right, and it's a 9-yard gain. So obviously, Plainedge has found something that they like, and knowing Coach Shaver for many years coaching against him, when he finds something he likes, he's going to stay with it.
Bonacore with a tackle for Floral Park, 2nd and 1. Little motion, a little hesitation on that line, but nobody went over. No flags given there. Shaver getting the call from his dad, and it's to his own number. Cuts inside, first down run, and some more. Shaver puts his head down and lands inside the 10.
And now what you're starting to see is Plainedge spreading them out, which is moving the defenders for Floral Park a little bit wider. They're actually now opening up lanes, and that's a great kick-out block, and Shaver did a great job running over the Floral Park defender.
Marco Montreal in on the tackle. Plainedge will have a 1st and goal from their own 8. Feeling a little bit more comfortable, it seems like, in this series than they did in their first 2.
Much more comfortable. Like I said, you find something that works. Most coaches will just stay with it. They might go opposite side. They might change the formation. But the philosophy in this drive is downhill, straight ahead, pulling a guard, pulling a tackle, kicking out. And it's having some success right now. And I like this timeout by Floral Park. He's not conceding this drive and saying, all right, we'll regroup after they score. This is a great timeout. Try to regroup. Let's see if he changes something. Maybe come with a stunt inside. Maybe even a fire stunt outside. Just to break up what Plainedge is doing.
Student section here for Plainedge. You can see them situated at this goal that Plainedge is attacking right now. A 1st and goal. Under center is Shaver. He hands off. It's Pepe. Oh, and he is wrapped up. Nowhere to go for Pepe. Might even be for a loss.
Yeah, and the whole middle of the defense, just like I said, collapsed on that. And I am a little shocked that he went back to double-tight power eye because it brought them in. But it looked like Gavin Turk made that, the initial tackle or initial contact on that.
2nd and goal from the 6. Shaver to the outside. He's pulled down almost. Gets to the goal line, and he's knocked out of bounds at about the 2.
Yeah, Kevin Russell did a real nice job staying with this play. And what are they putting it at? The 2 or the 3-yard line right there?
2-yard line, it looks like. So here we go, 3rd and goal from the 2.
And they're thinking 2 downs here. They're not. This is not a field goal situation. And that's actually Marco Montreal that saved the touchdown on that. Kevin Russell fell on top, but Marco Montreal went low, did a nice job, and he saved the touchdown right there.
3rd and goal, a fast-moving first quarter. You see we're approaching 1 minute left in this quarter. Shaver at a shotgun. Fumbles the ball, and he's taken down.
And that's a big play right there. I mean, that looked like that was going to go for a touchdown, and just that hesitation because he had to pick up the ball gave Floral Park a little bit of time to recover. Now you got 4th and goal from the 3, and that's why I said I like the timeout. They did not concede this drive, where a lot of coaches will sit there and say, all right, we'll make up, we'll adjust that, after the drive, after a quarter, something like that. Great timeout.
Here we go. 4th and goal from the 3-yard line. Power I. Leone cuts inside. Is he stopped? Does he get the push? Touchdown, Plainedge.
That's all second effort. He was stopped, and he never kept his feet. He never stopped moving his feet. Drive. And at the very last second, if you watch the replay, he reaches out for the goal line.
And there you see it. The extra effort. McGovern was in on the tackle, looked like, and usually
Russell.
Yeah, usually when McGovern hits you, you stay hit, you stay stopped. But as you mentioned, the extra effort on 4th down by Leone. The point after is a line drive of a kick, and it is good.
Yep. And I'll tell you, if you're Floral Park right now, you still feel good about yourselves. You made them work, especially inside the 10-yard line. You made them work. And you are going to the sideline right now saying, okay, that's fine, we'll regroup. Now let's put a drive together. This is a very important drive for Floral Park, especially after what happened last year in the playoffs. They need to now establish a drive because they do feel good about themselves. They were moving the ball, a drop pass, stopped them 3 and out. All right, then they had a punt again, and then that right there showed me that they're ready to play. They're in this game. They're not waiting for next week. They're going after it.
When we asked Pickett his keys for this game, mentioned 3 of them. He said we have to win the turnover battle. We have to win 3rd down on either defense or offense. We have to get them into 3rd and long situations where they have to throw it. And we also have to limit our penalties and our mistakes. So far, first quarter, there's been some mistakes. There's been no penalties, knock on wood. But it's been a good first quarter for Floral Park despite, obviously, the 7-0 deficit.
No, that's why I said this is an important drive. You have to establish something right now. You can't go 3 and out and let them get back to their ground and pound.
Here's the kickoff, and it will bounce, and it is fielded at about the 15-yard line. The run by Montreal, he's taken out of bounds pretty quickly.
Yeah, no, that's a nice little pooch kick to the sideline. And, they did a good job covering that.
Looked like it was
68.
You didn't see him in our roster.
No, I don't either. Not sure if that's somebody that was brought up from the JV or not, but he's not on the roster. So I apologize. I'd like to give you credit, young man.
So 1st and 10 from the 29. This will likely be the last play of this first quarter. Noronis in shotgun. Quick fire pass. It's complete for a 1st down and more out to the 50-yard line. Some more yak there and a really positive final play of this first quarter.
Yeah, quick hitch route to Bonacore. He makes one move and he almost breaks us. And I can tell you firsthand that Matt Bonacore is fast. He's got to be one of the top 3 guys when it comes to speed on that team. And I'll tell you, that was close to breaking it. That's a good start to a drive.
We'll take a quick break, and we'll have the second quarter coming up. You're watching this Nassau Conference 3 Showdown on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Media is available to broadcast your team's big event. Rivalry game.
Off the screen. 3 ball is good.
Senior night. Whatever the occasion, we enhance the viewing experience with our productions. Don't settle for a boring stream. Call today for more information about our services. 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
How bad's LeSuss?
And we welcome you back. 1st and 10 from the 50-yard line for Floral Park, attacking the student section end of this field. And we kind of jinxed them, it looks like, right? We said no penalties in the first play of the second quarter as a false start against the offense.
Yeah, they tried to come out of the quarter real quick, coming from the sideline.
A little too quick.
little too quick. One of the linemen moved. And I'll tell you right now, Floral Park has a very big offensive line, especially for Conference 3.
Yeah, we'll talk about them in a second after this play. 1st and 15, Neuronis under pressure. Still has it. Out to midfield and gets a little bit out of nothing there. Gets about a gain of, well, a little more than 3, so
actually
about 8.
Yeah, and again, you're looking at his athletic ability. This is a great outside rush, okay, by Jason LaScala. He gets a little too far upfield. That's what we try to teach our ends. Don't get too far upfield because it does create an extra gap.
Neuronis, quick fire. In and out of the hands. Looked like that was was that Bonacore?
Yes, it was the same play that the last play of the first quarter was just a quick hitch route to Bonacore. He looked like he was trying to run upfield a little too soon. He's got to secure the ball before he gets upfield. But there's opportunities right now for Floral Park.
And if you don't convert here, that kills you because that catch, or should have been a catch, would have been ahead of that marker, so it would have been a first down. 4 receivers now at the bottom of your screen. Neuronis, again, under pressure, ducks out of it. Nice run. Oh, what a headsy play by Chris Neuronis. He knew, Mike, where he had to go. He had that presence of mind, saw the field, and got to the first down marker.
And I wouldn't be surprised if this is a little bit by design. There is nobody on the weak side that has contained. And if listen, not too many defensive ends in Conference 3 right now have Chris Neuronis' speed. So if you lose contain, he's going to go.
Neuronis coming into this game, 36 carries, 327 yards, and 5 touchdowns. There he goes again, and he gets about 9 on that first down run.
And that's the option once again. Instead of pitching it this time, he almost gives like a little bit of a fake pitch, and he keeps the ball.
And you've got to respect it again because of his ability, but also you've got to play Nolan as well.
Absolutely.
So he does get 9. He's down to the 30. This is about as far as Floral Park got on their first drive before they stalled. They went 4 and out. Neuronis stutter steps, and he is hit hard. Not sure if he got enough for the first down. His teammates are pointing that it's a first down. We might have... Oh, he did get it.
Well, I'll tell you, Plainedge played that very well. That was supposed to be an inside shovel pass to Magyar, and Plainedge's front 4, all 4 of them did a real nice job staying in their defensive gaps. They have a gap responsibility, did a great job with that, and he had nowhere to go. But he still picked up the yard and a half for the first down, but that was a very good defensive play right there by the front 4 of Plainedge.
Mike, you mentioned the size of this Floral Park offensive line. You've got Rysick at 6'4", 195, Eastman 5'10", 180, Conboy 5'9", 260, and then Grassi at 5'9", 185, and of course Laredo at 6'3", 265. First down pass.
That's a fumble. Ooh.
I'll tell you, that's a great tackle as well by Cavallari.
That was very close to a backwards pass and a fumble.
Watch Cavallari here, too. All pursuit. Went right for the player. Here you see it again. Watch 15 just flying in.
Love the tackle. Nice and low, around the legs. That's great technique right there.
Cavallari, just a sophomore. 6'1", 170. Neuronis back to pass, and he is wrapped up and taken down. First sack of the day for the Red Devils.
Good pressure inside from Tom Everding. Did a real nice job on the swim. The one thing I'll say about Plainedge's line, they're not always the biggest, but the one thing that Coach Shaver teaches is technique, and most of them wrestle. And that's the one thing. When you have wrestlers, they usually got great balance and great strength.
LaScala, 88, also in on that tackle. He's got now 5 tackles for loss. He's got also his first sack, 3rd and 15. Neuronis goes deep. It's complete. Touchdown, Floral Park.
Matt Bonacore, and that was that same quad set. And basically all he did was run a seam route, and he just ran right by the Plainedge defense on that. They ran an out. Actually, it looks like they ran a ladder on the short side of the field. An out, a deep out, and a flag. That's a great design by Coach Pickett.
Point after attempt by Powell. Oh, and it's lost on the hold, so it'll be no good. But there's the response by Floral Park. Matt Bonacore, a year ago, he scored 16 touchdowns on JV every way possible. This time he goes 35 yards to the house for a receiving touchdown.
And that's a great answer by Floral Park. Now, I will say, one of the things that is always taught is don't ever take a play off. I hope that this is not a one-point game, because we talk about special teams being a third of every single game, and that's a mistake. That's the mistake that Coach Pickett said that they have to avoid. You can't have mistakes or turnovers. Now, it doesn't go down as a turnover, but it's a mistake. You miss an opportunity to tie the game.
And now you put pressure on yourself later in the game, possibly, right? Do you have to go for 2 when you maybe don't want to? You don't necessarily have to, but you leave a point on the board. Usually, it seems like so many times, right? That point that you leave on the board, somehow, some way, it comes back and hurts you down the stretch.
It can, and there are coaches that will chase. I don't think that he will be chasing that right away. No reason to, especially if you go up.
Leone is deep for Plainedge. And a little ground ball, and it's kind of kicked around, and that was trouble. Pepe came up with it, but an interesting kickoff there, and obviously no return there by Pepe.
Yeah, there's a lot of more and more high school teams are running that squib kick. And the thing is, there's a possibility of them recovering the ball, whether it's an onside kick or a squib kick. You don't give your return team a chance to return the ball. And, the philosophy is, hey, listen, if you give up 1 first down, it's the same thing as kicking the ball deep.
Something tells me that's been worked on maybe today or this week by you guys with Oceanside coming up.
My lips are sealed. I will not be talking about that game. I'm sworn to secrecy.
Oceanside, Massapequa on the Varsity Media Sports Network. You could join me on that call at 2 o'clock. What's interesting about I'm going to press you into this one, but I won't bother you the rest of the way. Considering, this is my point to both head coaches, Kevin Shippos and Rob Blount. Considering the situation this year where you don't have playoff games at Hofstra, which is a neutral site field, right? To me, I feel like regular season-wise, there might not be a bigger Massapequa Oceanside game than this because of what's at stake, because you could potentially be home throughout the rest of the playoffs. That's a huge difference.
Yes and no. You're talking about 2 great teams this year that have shown that they can win big games at home and on the road. You don't have the crowds that you would normally have.
That's fair.
You almost get a little bit more excited being a road team because the home team doesn't have that advantage. You go to Oceanside on a normal Saturday afternoon in the fall, and he's got his
the 309,
Sailor Nation and the 309s. It's very different. So I don't know if that's going to be the case this year. It's 2 great teams going to battle starting tomorrow.
1st and 10 from the 29-yard line. First down run, that is Leone.
And Kevin Russell did a real good job staying home, going down low, and making a very good tackle on this play.
Not our only broadcast tomorrow. We've got a few. Garden City and Southside as well, same time. Those 2 teams, JV as well. You want to see the future of both of those programs? We've got the JV game as well in the morning. Get a little cup of coffee, watch a JV game.
So it was nice.
Head on out to the varsity.
What's good about Varsity Media and all these people that are filming this? A lot of people are seeing games now.
2nd and 6 from the 33. Leone cuts it outside. And a first down run out to about the 43-yard line.
And that's a little dip inside, using his speed to get to the outside.
So give him 9 on that first down run. Joe Leone, again, coming into this game, 46 carries, 354 yards, 4 touchdowns. He also has 2 receptions, but both to the house for 58 yards. Man in motion. Back to Leone. Nice cut to the outside. He's taken down about 2 yards shy of the first down marker out to the 49-yard line of Floral Park.
Yeah, good tackle. It looks like Nate Estambabli making that tackle from the outside linebacker. And Shaver looked like he almost bobbled that snap too.
It was raining before the start of this game, so you wonder, are the balls a little wet? Is the turf? More importantly, I guess, is the turf is certainly got to be wet. Shaver calls his own number, gets to the outside, a first down run inside the Floral Park 45-yard line.
And, like I said before with Floral Park, that last drive that Floral Park had was huge. I'm going to go right back to saying that this is a very big, important drive for Plainedge. The way Floral Park scored on a big play, Plainedge has now established a running game once again in this drive. So you got to feel good if you're Plainedge.
And how much do you love Leone, right? Your lead running back. He was also your lead blocker there for Shaver. Good block to get him that first down. Shaver off first down, cuts inside, gets out to the outside, to the 20, the 10, a little tiptoe along the sideline, and the lights are on, and Shaver gets inside the 5.
Yeah, he breaks a tackle, makes a jump cut, gets outside. Again, this is a great answer for Plainedge right now. And, you said something about Leone. He's done a great job as a running back, but now you're starting to see him as a blocker. The key for this, though, is everybody on Plainedge, regardless if they're a lineman or a wide receiver, they block. And that's the key to any kind of a spread offense.
First and goal from the 4. Handoff. Pepe pushes forward, and he'll be stopped. Looks like about the 2-yard line.
And went back to that power I set. Looking to play smash mouth football. Stop me if you can. That's why I would have loved to seen the Bethpage Plainedge game. Wishbone versus power I.
A little old school. Off the run. Touchdown, Shaver.
And I will say this, that's a great job reading the gaps. Floral Park was coming on a blitz. Shaver saw where they were coming, saw the open gap, and just put his head down and scored. Good answer by Plainedge.
Yeah, you mentioned they needed a response. And as you said, Shaver with that response, the rushing touchdown for Travis Shaver, his 4th rushing touchdown of the year. He's got 6 passing touchdowns as well. Rojas, the point after, is up and good. Rojas now 17 of 21 on the year.
That's a big point because now you make it an 8-point game. So now we'll go back to that missed extra point by Floral Park. If they come back down and score, do you now chase and go for 2? Or do you think that this is going to be a little bit more of a shootout and say we're not going to chase yet, we'll wait till it happens later? So that's got to be on Coach Pickett's mind right now. If you score, are you kicking or are you going for the tie, possibly even in the first half?
I don't think you chase it yet. I mean, you wear the coaching hat. I don't, but that's just my opinion. I feel like you do your normal play calling, the normal situation, and then if you've got to chase it later on, then go ahead and do that. Obviously, if there's a penalty or something on the kick, that changes the things. But I say just go for what you normally do. especially show your players that? Maybe show some more faith in your kicking team? And then if you have to chase it later, chase it later.
Yeah, well, the way they scored and the way they've moved the ball so far, I agree. I don't chase yet.
Here's the kickoff. Another little pooch. It's fielded at about the 24-yard line, and not much to go. And that's a guy, too, again, in Bonacore. If you give him some space, he will attack it and eat it up. And that time, good coverage by Plainedge, making sure that Bonacore, who had the touchdown, the 35-yard reception, didn't have anywhere to go.
Yeah, and Vinny Cavalieri did a real nice job, breaking down, making a tackle. And, I coached the girls' varsity basketball team, so, he's got a twin sister, and who's Fabiano I'm talking about. She's a tremendous basketball player. I got mixed up a little bit with that. I apologize, but this is a sophomore he's a hell of a football player.
1st and 10 from the 32-yard line. Noronis motions Olin. Little inside run, and look at this. Into the secondary goes Nolan. Pepe catches him from behind, and he gets the forced fumble, and Pepe recovers. What a play by Dylan Pepe.
Oh, what a shame. And you got to give Pepe a lot of credit. It looked like Nolan was gone. He makes one cut, thinks he's going to the end zone, and that's where it always happens. It's always a strip from behind. Doesn't know, he doesn't see him, and you kind of relax a little bit. You're not high and tight. What a shame. Great play, and this is what I said. Floral Park's got opportunities tonight to move the ball and score. So right now, Coach Pickett's probably telling them, that's all right, let's go. Let's make a defensive stand. But give Pepe a lot of credit.
Unbelievable.
He didn't give up on a play. Unbelievable.
Exactly.
Unbelievable.
How about just the continuing the pursuit? He wasn't the closest guy, but he became the closest, and there's that diving strip from behind. And football, more maybe than other sports, a game of momentum. Let's see if Plainedge can capitalize here off of that incredible play by Dylan Pepe. 1st and 10 from their own 30-yard line. Shaver has switched between being under center and shotgun. He's now shotgun. Low snap. Looks for options.
Pick.
Throws it up. Was it incomplete? Was it picked off? It was! So the response, an immediate one by the Floral Park defense, and Matty Olin comes up with the interception.
Great defense right there. They came out in an empty set. All right, they did keep the tight end for a little bit more protection. They had 4 receivers out, and the ball's underthrown. All right, you see 2 Floral Park receivers there. Coach Shaver's definitely not happy. You could see that he was yelling. Interesting call. Going for the jugular, like we say, after a turnover, trying to hit it with a big play. But, Floral Park's back in the game a little bit, and that turnover actually doesn't hurt now.
Yeah, I was going to say, so I think you're at about the 30. So it's maybe only a difference of 11 yards, but you're right back again inside Plainedge territory. This is actually the best starting field position yet for Floral Park.
That it is.
Olin again in motion. He's getting motion back to this side. Noronis keeps it himself, looks for options, turns, still has it, and he's taken down inside the 40. Pepe with the tackle. But Noronis just sort of trying to navigate some traffic like he was on the Southern State around 5:30.
Is this a little Baker Mayfield in college? Running around, breaking tackles, tough to catch, throwing the ball real well.
2nd and 9 from the 40. Noronis, we said before, 3-sport athlete. Really excels at all 3. There isn't one that he's not good at. Noronis on the pressure. Throws over the middle, and it's incomplete. The pressure coming from Everding, the junior defensive tackle.
Yeah, he got right in Noronis' face, and Chris on that one, he threw the ball going backwards a little bit, but you could see his arm strength. I told you, he's a baseball player. All right, he's going on his back foot, and he's throwing the ball 30 yards. He overthrew him. It's probably a good thing he overthrew him because that could have been picked.
A good coverage as well by Franger.
Oh, absolutely. Great. There's another name that I'm familiar with. His brother was the quarterback when they beat us in the playoffs.
Nick Franger, one of the all-time leaders in passing yards on Long Island. This time Nolan in motion. Laronis fakes to him. Just a dump pass over the middle, and it goes to Bonacore, and he attacks the Plainedge sideline this time, and he gets out. This is close. Looks like he's out at about the 31, so about 2 yards or shy, right, of the first down marker.
As the flag.
Oh, no, wait.
They called a flag. I don't know if he's calling holding or a legal man downfield. Looked like it was going to be a screen. It looked like Laredo almost was going to catch that ball.
That one came late.
That one came very, very late. And they moved it back to the 40.
A spot foul, obviously, in high school. But as you mentioned, look, if you're Pickett and Floral Park, so many different things that you've run offensively have worked. It's not just been like hand it off to Nolan and block for him. There's been multiple players, Bonacore, Naronis as well. Pressure coming again. Naronis ducks out of it. Fires. Looking for Bonacore. Tip ball, and it's incomplete. Pepe again with the breakup for the Red Devils.
That's great coverage. And, Dylan Pepe's all over this field. He's making tackles. On kickoff, he's making tackles. He's making breakups. And this is a nice throw on the run. He doesn't make this play. That's a touchdown.
Another younger brother, Dylan Pepe, his brother last year, a big part of that, or 2019, right? But last season,
right.
Big part of that Long Island Championship team. 4th and 9, and this will be a punt. And the hope here for Floral Park is that you pin them deep, and is nearly blocked. Gets off. Can they? Oh, and they do get it. So it's the job that Floral Park wanted to get done. Bonacore gets it out, and the punt ends up being fielded at about the 2-yard line.
Yeah, 1-yard line, and that's Estimbale and Bonacore and Marco Montreal down there. Interesting part was that Plainedge had nobody deep. So they were playing fake, it looked like, thinking that, what do they have to lose? But, this is tough field position.
And the longest of this game to this point, 4:24, you see at the bottom of your screen, left in this entertaining first half.
It's a good football game right now.
And then look, there's been punches, there's been counter punches, and this time the Floral Park defense looking to get a big stop. Oh, and you got to back them up even. There's not much room to back up, but you're backing up a half yard.
And that's not a big deal. A great offensive play is to try to draw the team off sides because you get 5 and you only lose 1. But you might see a quarterback sneak here.
LeShaver under center. There is the aforementioned sneak, and it gets him out to about the 4-yard line.
Yeah, and that's a smart play call right there. You want to go forward. You don't want to take a chance of a fumble or someone slipping for a safety. You're up 8. Now you have a little bit more room. Again, wouldn't be a bad play to try to draw them off sides because, again, you're gaining 5 and only losing 1. Now the shotgun formation. This is what scares me a little bit.
Yeah, from his own end zone. The handoff goes to Leone, a little stutter step, a little juke, and he gets out to about the 10-yard line.
Yeah, good tackle by Gerard O'Hara. Another one of those real tough kids that come out of Floral Park. I know that from coaching there. Sometimes they don't have a lot of size, but there's some tough kids that come out of this community.
Well, O'Hara has been the key, Pickett has said. We'll get to that in a second. Leone is wrapped up, and he's pulled down. That's going to be for a loss of 1.
And again, O'Hara again.
Perfect timing.
And again, if you watch the snap was at his ankles. All right, they're having some issues with the shotgun snap.
O'Hara, so he came up after they lost the first game to Manhasset. He came up for the Hewlett game, and Pickett said right away, he plays middle linebacker. He's changed the entire face of this defense. The punt from the end zone. It'll take a bounce, and it'll take a Floral Park bounce at that. Fielded at about the 32-yard line, so Floral Park has some fantastic field position here with 2:41 left in this second quarter.
Plenty of time, 2 timeouts left. They should be in good shape right now to potentially tie the score, or at least get within one.
So again, in Nassau County, this abbreviated spring season, this is what normally would be a week 8. So this is week 6, final week. A lot of teams jockeying for position, looking to figure out where they'll be in the playoffs. Kind of said off air before the start of this one, Plainedge looks like, should they win this game, they'll be the 2 behind Manhasset and Floral Park. And if they could win this game, moving their way up.
They'll be 3, and they'll bump, because Bethpage will probably win and bump to 4. So Plainedge wins today. That would bump Floral Park probably to the 4. We were talking about it today at lunch. Floral Park wins. They're coming back next week.
1st and 10 from the 32-yard line. Noronis hands off, and that's Bonacore, and this time he gets about 2 on that first down run. Stevens again.
Yeah, Stevens again. And Dominic Tuzio was also right there on the play.
A week ago, Stevens 9 tackles to lead the way for Plainedge in that win over Bethpage.
There's that hitch route again that they throw.
It's complete. First down and some more for Floral Park.
And that was to Cameron Powell. And, they must see something. And normally Plainedge comes up a little bit more aggressively with their corners, but they're back almost 8-9 yards, and their first 3 steps are back. So they're giving the hitch routes. And, you give it, I take it.
1st and 10 from the 18. Noronis looks end zone. Lob pass right there. Good coverage. The pass a little bit short. I like the idea, though, on first down to go end zone.
Yeah, and Stephen Fragner did a good job with the coverage on that. Looked like they were just running a little bit of a go or a fade route. Noronis underthrew that one a little bit.
So it brings up a 2nd and 10. You mentioned Powell before. Pickett's quick to say, not the fastest guy, but a really great route runner. And obviously in his position, that's huge.
This is a throw. This is a throwback.
Here comes Nolan. Didn't get the opportunity, but he's going to burst it forward. What a cut inside. Nolan taken down inside the 10-yard line.
And this is what Floral Park, what makes them dangerous, is they have an ability to take a broken play, and Plainedge did a great job covering it, but making something positive out of nothing. That's where the athleticism of these 2- and 3-sport athletes are coming from right now.
1st and goal from the 7, and you like this timeout as well by Pickett. You want to make sure everyone's on the right page, what they've got to do here in the final 97 seconds of this first half. And again, they were right there. We mentioned it at the start last year. All Plainedge, right? 56-20. Now, what was interesting about that, when we mentioned that injury to Noronis, he comes back in that Plainedge game, runs for a score. That was also the game that Pickett and his staff realized that Jack Nolan could be a pretty good running back, because once Noronis went out, you got to find that other option. That's where Nolan came in. That was his first time he was moved to running back in that playoff loss versus Plainedge, but he's been the guy this year. Bonacore, who we saw as well, he's the heir apparent as a junior, and you could see why he's going to be the next man up for Nolan when he graduates in a few weeks.
Yeah, well, both teams are young in certain spots. Both teams are athletic. Both teams are going to be in the top 3 or 4 next year. And what's good is, and I'll say this, and I can't speak on Plainedge's behalf, but I know, Coach Shaver and their staff, they do a great job in the weight room. Well, during the pandemic, I will tell you that they found a gym at Floral Park, and I'm talking about kids' gym, and these kids busted their butt to get bigger, stronger, and faster.
I'll give a few stories about that in a second. There's an option. That's a dangerous one at that, and it's so dangerous that it's actually a fumble recovery, and it looked like it was Everding, 55, who came up with the fumble recovery.
This should be an incomplete pass. Unless it was caught in the air. This is a shovel pass. If the ball hits the ground, it's a fumble. If it's caught in the air, then it's an interception. And that's what Coach Pickett is saying right now. And the argument didn't last that long. I'd really like to see a close-up, but a shovel pass is not a fumble.
Well, here's a look at it again.
It's a shovel. It's hard to see from that angle.
Everything fall on it.
He fell on it. I thought the ball hit the ground. I could be wrong. My eyes are getting old.
So you got to say, a wasted opportunity for Floral Park inside the 10-yard line, and it's a 1st and 10 from the 6. Leone gets to the outside into the secondary, and a good first down run by Joe Leone.
And I think at this point, Plainedge is going to call timeout right now. I honestly thought that Coach Shaver would have ran this out, went into halftime and regrouped up 14-6, knowing that they're going to get the ball, to start the half. But, he picked up 8. Knows Floral Park only has 1 timeout.
So you were mentioning before Floral Park. I wanted to get to this while we have an opportunity. So they found a way to go to the gym kind of as a unit, right, during quarantine. But even before that, in the early stages, Laredo, his family has a house upstate New York. So he was up there. His dad built him a gym at the house. He had 12-mile rides up those hilly roads upstate. He was working out in the gym. That was a big part of his workout as well. And he's reshaped his body. The same is true of Will McGovern. Will McGovern had a 2x4 with big truck tires. You find a way, right? If gyms are closed, you got to find a way. And he also has reshaped his body, and that's a big reason for his success here this spring. Look at this run on 2nd and 2. To the 40, to the 30. Touchdown, Leone. 87 yards to the house.
That's a backbreaker. You honestly thought that they were going to run the clock out, go into halftime, 14-6. And it's just a simple ISO play where Floral Park got caught inside. They didn't keep contained. And we all know that Leone has speed. And you saw it there, 87 yards to the house.
Leone's 2nd rushing touchdown of the day. Gives him now 6 on the season. And it's a forced timeout here by Floral Park. I think they had too many men.
He's counting up right now, Coach Cobb. I think it's more of a timeout just to settle their guys down and say, hey, this is still a big point. Because he misses this point, it's a 2-touchdown game, 7-7. He gets his point, at some point you're going to have to go for 2.
The funny thing, again, in our conversation with Rob Shaver, right, here's what we have on our chart about Joe Leone. Tremendous speed, really good inside zone runner, plays bigger than he is, breakaway, a lot of big runs.
Well, we saw all that. We saw that all on one play.
Yeah.
We saw a breakaway. We saw he's bigger than he is. The ability to make people miss. For how many years have we talked about Valari?
Oh, yeah.
Quinlan.
Sure.
I mean, we could just
Either
go on.
Quinlan.
Yeah. Listen, I got to see the older Quinlan firsthand.
Yep.
So for years and years and years, they keep getting these great running backs here at Plainedge. And that's a tribute to Coach Shaver and his staff. He's got a great staff with him. I mean, he's got guys that should be head coaches in other schools that don't have egos, that love working with him. And they do a lot of weight room stuff and skill stuff.
Rojas, another line drive, and that one is good. It somehow nicked the bottom part of the bar and found its way in. Rojas' point after is good. He's 3 for 3 on the day, and talk about a change of emotion, of momentum. You go one way, Floral Park is looking to get into the end zone, and controversial turnover, and then right away Leone brings it back the other way, 87 yards, and the lead is now 21-6 with 1:03 left in this first half.
Yeah, right now, if you're Coach Pickett, you're trying to gather up your guys. You're trying to keep them positive. One of the keys to this game, as Coach Pickett said, was limit the turnovers. And there's been a lot of turnovers. Now, we didn't see anything in the first quarter, but in this second quarter, how many turnovers have we seen? You know, even both sides. When you get a turnover for you, you got to capitalize. You can't give it right back, and that's what happened this quarter.
Let me ask you here too. You get that big run. You see, you're thinking what I'm thinking here, right? Maybe a little onside, and maybe put a little more pressure on Floral Park, especially thinking maybe you got a wounded animal here.
Well, if you're Oceanside, you would.
You say we're talking about it. It is fielded instead at the 24-yard line. That's Bonacore, and he is met at about the 32 by a host of Red Devils.
Well, they have an interesting kicking formation that you can go 5 yards up to the 35-yard line. They literally stay at the 39, so you don't get a running start. So that tells you they're not kicking the ball deep, because you're going to get a slower start from the 39. That is, if you were coming from the, say, 35, 36, and getting a running start to pick up momentum. So they are looking to either pooch, they're looking to squib. I am a little shocked that they're kicking the ball to Bonacore, but one of Floral Park's strengths for years, Coach Ryan does a great job with special teams. He was my special teams coach as well, is his ability to get a great kickoff return. And he has Marco Montreal deep usually, and he busted a couple last year as well.
1st and 10 from the 32-yard line. Noronis out to the 35 to about the 37. Tackle there. Looks like Morello, 56, was in on the tackle.
Stevens was in the pile as well, again. And this is interesting. Does Coach Pickett sit there and basically say, listen, let's go into half, let's regroup, or does he come out? Now, I will say that was a little bit more tentative than I've seen Noronis so far.
Still gets 5 at a shotgun, hands off. Look at a burst by Nolan, but he's taken down. Not much there for Nolan. Gets out to about the 41. About a yard or so, a long yard shy of the first down marker. And now with 10 seconds left, it looks like Floral Park will not run another play.
Yeah, both coaches are conceding right now that this is going to be halftime.
So back and forth first half, but you got to say Joe Leone, the star thus far for Plainedge, 2 rushing touchdowns, including that 87-yarder to give Plainedge a 21-6 lead here at the half. We'll take a quick break, and we will regroup and get you some of those first half highlights as well. You're watching this Nassau Conference 3 showdown right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Varsity Media is the tri-state area's leader in sports media production. We specialize in live streaming.
Gargiulo over the middle. He's got a man. It's complete. And Ciolino. See you later. Touchdown, Massapequa.
Videography. And photography. Covering all sports at all levels. We feature aerial photography and videography, college recruiting videos, live streaming of games.
Top of the key, Smith. Why not? Wow. Bang! McKee, first down and more! Charlie McKee! Touchdown, Oceanside!
School events, graduations. Varsity Media is available to cover a game, a tournament, a season, or any special event.
Talk to us a little bit about what went through your mind, how you prepared for that to run such a fast speed.
Currently, spectators are limited at events. Let Varsity Media bring the event to your fans. Contact Varsity Media today for more information. Online at varsitymedia.net or by phone
516-403-2050.
Media is available to broadcast your team's big event. Rivalry game,
Off the screen. 3 ball is good.
senior night. Whatever the occasion, we enhance the viewing experience with our productions. Don't settle for a boring stream. Call today for more information about our services. 516-403-2050 or visit us online at varsitymedia.net.
We welcome you back to Edward Byrne Memorial Field. Second half about to start. Plainedge with a 21-6 lead over Floral Park in this final game of the regular season. Joe Leone got the offense started for Plainedge, a 3-yard touchdown run. That was with 13 seconds left in the first quarter. The response came in a big way. Chris Naronis finding Matt Bonacore for a 35-yard touchdown pass as you see the rain coming down. So you were right. I don't know what I give you credit. You saw the rain right away. Ben Turch and these other guys, they said you were crazy. It wasn't raining. That right there. There's your proof.
Yeah, listen. All you got to do is look at the lights, And Ben calls me old. I don't know what he's talking about. Yes, I'm wearing glasses, but I mean, I saw the rain right away, and I knew the forecast. That's why you hired us.
That's right. So Naronis to Bonacore, 35-yard score. The point after was muffed, so looked at that point. We said that could be big. 7-6 was the score. Travis Shaver, a 2-yard touchdown run. The PAT was good, 14-6 with 6:21 left in the second quarter. Then the big change. Floral Park was inside the 10. A handoff or a forward pass or whatever the call was, it ended up being a turnover. Everything fell on the ball, fumble recovery. And then almost immediately, Joe Leone goes the other way, 87 yards to the house. PAT was good. So 21-6 is your score as we head to the second half.
And what's big about that was it could have been a simple situation where Floral Park's defense might have relaxed a little bit, thinking that, listen, you're on the 13-yard line, under a minute to go. They're just going to run out the clock, be up 8 points, get the ball in the second half. And, you see what happens. Leone breaks it 87 yards. So instead of a 8-point, lead going into halftime, it's now a 15-point lead and getting the ball.
Exactly. That's like my next point. This is a huge possession in this game because if Floral Park can get a stop and you go the other way, right, well, it's a ball game. It still is right now, obviously, but Plainedge scores, and it becomes that much more difficult, especially for a team. Even though they showed it here today, their bread and butter isn't those long passing touchdowns, those quick strikes. So certainly by throwing the ball, they're not a ground and pound per se, but a 21-point deficit is a tough one, or 22 really, with the extra point that was missed is a hard one to recover from.
And one thing that, you just brought up about the rain, not only is it raining very hard right now, the wind has picked up. If you look at the flag right now, so I would probably guess 18-mile-an-hour, 19-mile-an-hour winds. And Floral Park has no choice but to take the wind in this quarter. So if Floral Park wants to get into this game or back into this game and make a run for the fourth quarter, this is the important quarter right now. And you saw that they kicked a squib, hoping that the ball would slip and slide and skid on the turf and maybe a little bit of a fumble. Plainedge did a good job recovering that, and they have great field position at the 41-yard line.
Yeah, so 1st and 10 from the 41-yard line. It's Shaver under center this time. Hands off. There's Leone again. Leone's to the secondary. Leone, the cut inside. Still has it. Nolan breaks another tackle, and he's pulled down inside the 10.
And just like the way the first half ended, Joe Leone comes right out. And give Plainedge credit. They went double tight, A-set, and that's kind of offsetting what Floral Park's defense is. They're running an odd front. They're running a 3-4. They're bringing their hangers or their outside linebackers up on the line of scrimmage, and they are creating mismatches, Plainedge, running this formation. And you see Leone coming out of the game for a little bit of a break for Dylan Pepe.
Yeah, not much of a break if you're Floral Park because Pepe is been a beast as well. This time it's Shaver calling his own number, cutting inside. Shaver turns and is pulled down at about the 5-yard line.
And good job by Floral Park's defense on that. They went back to their spread formation. Now you're starting to see a couple substitutions. One more lineman coming into the game. So they're bringing in extra linemen. So I'm looking for either a heavy set or an unbalanced set. And actually it's going to be, 68, who was not on our roster, playing fullback right now.
Shaver again.
And it looks like a fumble.
I think it is. And it's recovered, it looks like, there by Plainedge.
And I don't want to be critical, but there's been some turnovers that haven't actually been turnovers. They're mishandling snaps, whether it's the shotgun. Even on the first play of the half, it looked like there was a little bit of an exchange issue, and that could have been disastrous. That could have been what Floral Park needed. And yes, the weather could be playing a factor right now.
Yeah, you mentioned the rain that's now, but it did rain pretty significantly before the game as well, so that's a wet turf. Doesn't bother that man, though. Back into the end zone.
And that was untouched.
Yeah. Another one for Leone. We'll take another look.
And I think it's a great idea that they stay under the center right now, the way the rain is coming down. And all that is just a power where they're blocking down, sealing the backers, kicking out. And we got our missed extra point there. So, again, that could come back and play a big role.
27-6, the lead for Plainedge, and it has been the Joe Leone show in his final regular season game here at this unbelievable facility at Plainedge. The thing I like about all you guys out in this part of Nassau County is like you all try to one up each other. I feel like like Plainedge builds theirs, Farmingdale builds theirs.
Listen,
you guys are up, Massapequa.
Listen, our facilities are top notch.
Yes.
I mean, one of the reasons that I moved to Massapequa years ago was the facilities. I mean, just the youth programs, the facilities, Burns Park. The travel sports and everything else, it's a great place to live. And you're right. Listen, when I used to play Plainedge, this was a grass field.
Right,
Floral Park used to be called the Rock, for a reason. And you see this beautiful facility. This is tough to beat.
We were out at Port Washington a week ago, and it's not this place, right? But their improvements have been tremendous as well. Ball fielded about the 28-yard line. And into a host of players. So Floral Park will start on the 35. But that used to be a grass field as well at Port Washington. Now new turf field. You got actual bleachers there. Before you had to just kind of sit on the grassy knoll. And a beautiful press box as well. So you got to give credit to Port Washington. They're kind of building things a little bit now. And it's been a slow build these first couple of years in Nassau Conference 1. But they're a program on the rise.
Hey, when Coach Cogliancy took that job, he said, get me out of independent. I want to be where I belong in Conference 1. Great young coach, played at West Hempstead. He actually works my football camp. We call him Baker Mayfield, and he actually does look like Baker Mayfield. Yeah. But he's got things rolling over there. It's going to take time, but he's doing a great job.
So 1st and 10 from the 35, inside handoff, and about a yard on that one for Floral Park.
Yeah, again, everything did a great job taking on the block. Floral Park came with a counter on that. Both the guard and tackle were trying to kick out, and everything slipped inside and made a real nice play.
So they'll call it a gain of 2, 2nd and 8. Neuronis in shotgun. Fakes the handoff to Leone. Cuts it to the outside. Excuse me, that was the fake to Nolan. And Neuronis is forced out by Shaver.
Yep, Shaver. And I'll tell you, at some point in this game, you're going to wonder, what are you doing with your starters? Now, I know it's only 27-6, but you see Shaver coming in there late, making a tackle, cleaning it up. You see Neuronis trying to make things happen. This is a very interesting drive because Floral Park goes down and scores. This is a game.
3rd and 2. Oh, and Nolan nowhere to go. How about that tackle? Sally Kuna. That'll be a 3-yard loss. Kuna.
And Morello.
Here it is again. Look at him just fly in. Kuna, 5'10", 180 senior.
Does he wrestle?
He's got it, right?
Of course.
13,
does he play the line?
13 tackles defensive line.
Does he
3
play for
tackles
Shaver?
for a loss. He plays for Shaver probably multiple seasons. Here they go. 4th and 5 to the outside. First down run. Big play for Floral Park. And it is Jack Nolan getting the run for the first down.
Just what Floral Park needed to keep this game alive. Just a fake to the up back. Almost looks like they would have been able to run an option off that. And you just see the athletic ability right there. First down at the 46-yard line going in. Great call. Listen, you have nothing to lose right now. You know you're in the playoffs. You know you're either going to be a 3 or 4 seed. And Coach Pickett's sending a message right now to his team. We're not giving up. We're going to play this game out. And I remember I was talking about that a few minutes ago. It's going to be very interesting to see how both coaching staffs play the rest of this game with a 27-6 lead.
1st and 10 from the 46-yard line. Handoff to the outside. And look at this run. First down and more. Marco Montreal.
And Marco is going to Florida Atlantic. He would love to walk on and play football over there. Marco's got great speed. He's just one of these kids right now that's just kind of in the mix at running back because, you got the emergence of Bonacore. You got Nolan.
And Neuronis.
So right now it looks like they're running a little bit of Wildcat. Neuronis is just getting to play. But I will tell you this. Montreal is a phenomenal corner. He is a lockdown type of cornerback.
Yeah, Pickett thinks maybe a nickel corner, next level. Neuronis fires deep. Incomplete. Solid coverage again. Frenger with that deep coverage.
Yeah, and it looked like the same pattern, just a little post route. Could have been a slant, what we call a slower slant and go, going to Powell, but Franger's right there, ball overthrown once again. And again, the rain has picked up, the wind has picked up, so the ball might have carried out of Neuronis' hands a little bit.
Yeah, that flag you mentioned across the field, it's right now into that jet stream that Neuronis is trying to throw into, so he's got to be wary of getting that ball up high. Again, some movement, some motion. Neuronis up the middle. Good job just holding onto the ball. You can see the Plainedge guy stripping at it. He's taken down at about the 13-yard line. First down again for Floral Park.
And they're moving right now. And again, one thing Coach Pickett's going to take out of this is they've been able to move the ball. And they've had opportunities to score. They just got to cash in right now. Put a little pressure on Plainedge. Get a score here, kick the extra point, and put some pressure on them.
Another man in motion. This time Neuronis goes the other way. And he is taken down at about the 11-yard line. 11-yard line. Kuna again in on the tackle.
Yeah, Kuna's playing a very, very solid game defensively. And basically what Floral Park's running, they're just running a little bit of a dart play with the tackle wrap or guard wrapping around. Listen, I'm real curious to see what happens on this drive if they score.
Well, this is kind of where they were that last drive that they had where it was like a pitch and ended up being a turnover, and Leone goes the other way for a huge score. Bonacore continues to churn the legs. He's taken down at about the 6. So 2 more yards will bring up a 3rd and 6.
And you heard that name again. Stevens on a tackle with Vinny Cavalieri.
And there is a flag on the play coming back, holding on the Knights.
And that's a tough penalty right there.
Yeah, flag was against. You can see at the bottom of your screen the offensive holding, and that is a killer because it puts you back at the 21-yard line. Again, a spot foul, and when you see kind of where that was, obviously somewhere there in the backfield, so you go from being at what do we say, the 6 or the 8? Now you're back at the 22, 2nd and 17.
Probably going to be some kind of a pass right now.
Neuronis fakes the pitch. Oh, and he is hammered at the 20-yard line. Everding in on there, 55.
You're starting to see a couple people on Floral Park right now with their hands out, palms are up. Almost looked like a little confusion on that. Could have been a shovel pass inside, but Yeah, somebody missed a block there.
And Everding and look like Kuna again.
Going back to that quads look. Still waiting to see what they run to this side with Magyar as a tight end.
Here comes the pressure. Good job, Naronis ducking under it. Throws back foot. And it goes out of bounds. Naronis is down. Quickly back up, though, as the pressure came in and sets up a 4th down. And obviously with the time and score, you've got to go if you're Plainedge, if you're Floral Park.
Right, but the problem is Naronis is on the sideline with his helmet off. So either you're going to get their backup quarterback for this 4th down play.
Well, Nolan is a possibility there. Let's see.
It's got to be.
4th and 16. There goes Nolan. Looks. Fires it high. A lame duck of sorts out of bounds.
That's a real tough situation to come into. 4th down and 17. A lot of you know Coach Shaver is dialing up the pressure right now. And again, that's another missed opportunity by Floral Park. And that will be, I'm sure, Coach Pickett's message after this game. Missed opportunity, mistakes, everything he said to the Keys. Talked about penalties, talked about getting off the field on 3rd down, turnovers.
Well, again, I suspect when you have your coaching hat on, you probably watched the film of this last week, but we were out at Port Washington, Oceanside, Port Washington. The final score doesn't tell the story. It's 28-0, but for Oceanside, but Port Washington's inside the 10 in the red zone 3 times, and they were stopped, and those are the opportunities you've got to cash in on, especially against teams like an Oceanside, like a Plainedge, especially when you're playing at Plainedge. Floral Park unable to do so, and they've been punished each time that they haven't. 1st down run out to, I was going to say to 25, but look at the extra push. Those offensive linemen with the extra push.
Yeah, and I think you're starting to see right now that I don't want to say Floral Park's defeated because they're not defeated, but you could see a little bit of the energy that they had in the beginning of the game. A little bit of that zip is kind of now being taken away.
Well, roster size-wise, too, they're not a big team. They started the year at about 30. They're at about 25 now, but Pickett's done a good job. You know, when I had the conversation with him, not a lot of guys. You would think, and look at that play defensively, you would think with only 25 guys you would have everyone go both ways, but he does have some good rotation defensively. Guys like Turk and O'Hara and McGovern, even Montreal, for the most part, kind of defensive-only guys.
Yeah, and that was Gavin Turk on that play right there. And listen, I told you, Floral Park kids are tough kids. They're not going to quit. They're going to fight.
Well, Turk's a good story, too. Kyle Ring, remember him last year? Kind of that skinny, fast, tough defensive lineman. Took Turk under his wing, and Turk was one of those, like, no-position guys. So Pickett said, let's put you at the end, and you can see it's paid dividends. And look at this run again. Leone, just get him out into space, and he does the rest. So after a big play for a loss by Turk, Leone with the response again inside Floral Park territory.
Yeah, listen, Leone is taking this game over, and you see all his little jump cuts, and you see him lower his shoulders, stiff arm right to the face mask. You know, at some point, you know Coach Shaver is going to pull him, you know, because you got to get ready for next week.
1st and 10 from the 49-yard line. Twin receivers at the bottom of your screen. The handoff to Pepe. Bursts up the middle, and he'll get out to about the 45-yard line.
Yeah, they're just right now playing smash mouth football. And again, once Coach Shaver figured it out, and I'm not saying he had any he didn't have a hard time trying to figure this out, but he knows the way to beat Floral Park right now is to run right at him.
2nd and 6 from the 45-yard line. Pepe again. Cuts inside, and he's a tough guy to get down as well. He's pulled down at about the 31-yard line.
Yeah, right now Plainedge just has that extra gear right now, and somebody's going to have to make a play for Floral Park to turn this around a little bit.
McGovern with the tackle, but of course it's after a big run, so 14-yard gain for Pepe, and that Pepe, Leone, a little bit of Shaver. That's been the recipe for success offensively, and of course behind the big boys up front. Shaver hands off, fumble, and Floral Park looks like they have it. And they do.
And that's exactly what Floral Park needed. They needed some type of turnover.
So Plainedge kind of looking to take a page out of the Floral Park book a little bit, right, with that play call. And
look at the little option right there.
Option goes to Leone, but he fumbles, and the Knights come up with it. So let's see if here they can capitalize. A minute 14 left in the third quarter. 27-6 is your score. We saw it with Plainedge earlier. They went for the jugular right away. Will Floral Park maybe do that here as well?
Well, they got a minute 14 with the wind.
And Noronis back in, which is good to see. A quarterback hands off to Nolan, and he is hammered for a loss. And Stevens yet again in on the tackle.
And give Plainedge's defense a lot of credit right now. They've made some adjustments. They've found some keys to what Floral Park is doing, and Stevens has got some keys because right now he's all over the field.
And obviously teams make adjustments, right? But I kind of would like to see it worked certainly for a touchdown, but maybe get Bonacore again, get him out into space, and maybe you could hit him. And again, not much doing there. Looked like that was Nolan.
No, it was Noronis again on that same play. But you can see he's not running with that same type of intensity as he was before. He's not making people miss. You know, their defense coordinator for Plainedge, Coach Vavorka, has been a defense coordinator. He's been a head coach at Amityville. He's always looking to do research. I've seen him on Twitter. Does a great job researching and asking people, how do you cover this? And you can see that the adjustments he's made has worked.
You're on Twitter?
Yes.
3rd and 11. Noronis, final play of the third quarter. It's complete. A long pass over the middle to Matty Olin, the junior, and that will do it for the third quarter. So Plainedge with a 27-6 lead. 12 minutes left to go here in this Nassau Conference 3 showdown. You're watching it right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Now is the time to promote your business on our broadcasts.
Now Farmiga will fire and find the back of the net.
Top of the key, 4-3, good.
With viewership in the thousands, your company will get the local attention it needs. Best of all, we offer affordable rates. High school sports online audiences are growing. Take advantage by advertising with Varsity Media.
Hands off, 3-point shot is up and in. You back him back 3 yards, it doesn't matter. Touchdown, Freeport.
Contact us today, 516-403-2050, varsitymedia.net.
We welcome you back to Edward Byrne Memorial Field, North Massapequa. First play of the fourth quarter. Noronis looking for help. Blasts right by a defender. Gets a good block upfield as well. And Chris Noronis uses those legs and a late flag as well. So this could be tacked on. Maybe a personal foul against Plainedge. And the Chris Noronis show for Floral Park continues.
Yeah, you get him out in open space. I said it before. You watch how he can make somebody miss.
I like the block upfield as well. That was Anthony Martella.
Martella with a great job stalking, and that's what you want your receivers to do. Never give up on a play. I'm trying to see what the flag is. It didn't look like a late hit. It could have been a face mask. Oh, horse collar. That's, it's tough to see up here in this great booth. And I'm not being sarcastic. This is one of the nicest fields I've seen on a high school level in New York State. Jumbotron, a booth for every aspect of, announcers and film.
That field up in Middletown is obviously ridiculous, but on Long Island, certainly this rivals even some colleges out here. First and goal, another situation here, Floral Park. Noronis fires it. It's tipped. Is it picked? No, it's not. The ball goes down, nearly an INT. Iadivio with the opportunity to get the turnover.
And this is just a little what we call action fake right here. Quick slant. That's a good defensive play right there.
Well, Stevens was the first one in.
Stevens
again.
is the one that deflected it. Yep. Have we said that name today?
A couple times. We said this guy's name too. Nolan to the outside, and look at the pursuit by Plainedge. Not much going there. Maybe about a gain of 2 or 3 there.
And that's Cavalier and Shaver making the play.
Third and goal from the 6. You've got options if you're Floral Park. Again, we've seen Nolan, Noronis. Seen some receivers, Montreal, Bonacore.
See, right now I'm keying Magyar, the sniffer.
Noronis, back to pass, looks for options. Fires it back of the end zone, and again, pressured on the play.
By Jason LaScala. Looks like he was in his face, made him throw the ball a little bit faster than he wanted to. And obviously you're in a 4th down situation.
So another 4th and goal, another opportunity, and to this point, what is it, 3 now? 3 times inside the 10? No points to this stage for the Knights.
This has been a theme all night. It's just missed opportunity after missed opportunity.
You've got Nolan now to the right hip and a timeout by Floral Park. Quick reminder, too, we've got a lot of football action ahead. We've actually got 3 broadcasts tomorrow. It starts out early in the morning. You get a little coffee, a little cup of tea, and you've got the JVs of Garden City and Southside. Then we've got that varsity game later on, about 2 o'clock. And then, of course, the big one, Oceanside and Massapequa, pair of undefeated teams, Nassau Conference 1, playing for the top seed in Nassau Conference 1. I'll be on the call for that one. 2 o'clock kick out at Oceanside High School.
That should be a good game.
I think so. I've seen both teams this year. I saw Massapequa early that win at Freeport. Freeport, of course, down this year. I've seen Oceanside now twice, I think, live. This will be the 3rd time. Both teams may be a little bit banged up, but I'll tell you right now, we're impacting the quarterbacks as our pregame look. And, of course, you got Charlie McKee on one side, Giller, maybe because you're in the same conference as the McKee, maybe he doesn't get the proper respect. But some ballers on both sides, both lines. Though I think, it's kind of cliche, right? But the line of scrimmage is going to be really big tomorrow afternoon. Big here play for Floral Park. 4th and goal from the 7. Nothing doing for Noronis. Sacked. Turnover on downs.
And again, it looked like Jason LaScala cleaning that up. There was a lot of pressure coming from the outside. Floral Park went with that quads look again. And again, they're looking to get him out of the pocket on that. And Plainedge is just maintaining the gap responsibility.
I think 17, too. Sal Cirasano also in on the play. But LaScala He was a tackle a year ago, and offensively they moved him to tight end. He's going to Utica next year, play tight end in college. He impacts the game in a big way on the other side, a monster of a blocker, great hands as well, but you can see how he's impacting it defensively as well. 15 tackles, 4 for a loss, a fumble recovery, all coming into this game. I feel like he's got a handful. We mentioned his name a bunch of times today. So 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line. Hand off. And the run goes out to about the 14.
And again, Leone's still in the game, still working, trying to work a little bit more clock right now. They might not be in their fast-paced offense. They might take a little bit more time off the clock. You know, you're up 3 scores, so you don't want to go too fast right now.
Handoff goes the other side, and look at this run. Out to the secondary, and tackle out by about the 50-yard line. Another big play for Plainedge. 37-yard gain.
Tackled by Matt Bonacore, who's, again, he's gonna keep fighting to the end. But you're really starting to see Plainedge, exploit that off-tackle run right now.
Another big one by Leone. He gets out to the 50-yard line. Inside handoff. And about a gain of 7 on that first down run. And we're seeing, you mentioned maybe some tiredness from the Floral Park defensive line and those guys up front for Plainedge getting the push now. And the gains of maybe 2 or 3 early on are going for a bit more. That run was by Carlo DeGiacomi. DeGiacomi with the big run there. Pass over the middle. Incomplete. Iadivia was the intended target.
Yeah, that was good coverage. Just overthrown again. Right now, Plainedge has the wind, and he's looking for that one more score. He wants a game. He wants to put this one away right now. We were talking about maybe Floral Park being a little bit tired. You got a lot of guys playing 2 ways. You talked about the size of the roster of Floral Park. You look at the sideline. There's not as many guys as you might see in some of the upper conferences. Like in Conference 1, you see a lot more guys on the sideline. You have guys that are able to, substitute and rotate, where, sometimes Floral Park and some of the Conference 3 schools, they might not have that opportunity to rotate as many guys. And Floral Park, when the way they're playing their 3-4 defense, their defensive ends aren't your prototypical defensive ends. They're more outside linebacker / strong safety type of guys.
Yeah, I mean, look at the size. Turk, 5'9", 170, and then your other end is Grassi, 5'9", 185. The only guy who kind of looks the part is at nose. You got Laredo at 6'3", 265.
Right, and again, don't get me wrong. I mean, Grassi's he's tough. He wrestles. He's strong as an ox. He's got a motor. But I don't know if I would call him your prototypical defensive end. He would probably be a great nose guard because of his, ability to wrestle and stuff like that.
We got some updated stats on Leone. 16 carries, 267 yards, 3 touchdowns. Looking for another one and trying to get out to 300 yards on the day. And
if it wasn't for Nolan's, shoestring tackle, he would have had another touchdown.
What a day for Joe Leone, and really a career kind of day. Came into this game 46 carries for 354 yards. So he's, not to say that he's nearly doubling that, but he's having a night here.
And look at him just hurdle the pile right there. And one thing that Plainedge does is they do a lot of different things with formations. 1 tight end, 2 tight ends, no tight ends. That's the one thing that I always said about Coach Shaver is, with all his formations, it's tough to practice.
Dancing to the outside. Leone gets a good block upfield. He's in. Touchdown, Joe Leone.
And let me tell you who gets a lot of credit for that play is number 18, Anthony Gentile. If you watch that stalk block on the outside. Now, again, they went ace formation. They went double tight, which is kind of spreading the gaps out, and they're just running like a zone to one side or the other. But their running backs who are actually outside on the wing or actually in the outside, they do a great job blocking.
With that touchdown run for Leone, he's over 300 yards on the game. 18 carries, 302, and 4 touchdowns. They play That's Amore for him every time he scores. We've heard a lot of it here tonight at Plainedge. It's the Joe Leone show, and he's got Plainedge leading 34-6 with 7:14 to go. We'll take a quick break, and we'll come back. You're watching this Nassau Conference 3 matchup right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Now is the time to promote your business on our broadcasts.
Now Farmingdale will fire and find the back of the net.
Top of the key, 4-3, good.
With viewership in the thousands, your company will get the local attention it needs. Best of all, we offer affordable rates. High school sports online audiences are growing. Take advantage by advertising with Varsity Media.
Hands off, 3-point shot is up and in. You back him back 3 yards, it doesn't matter. Touchdown, Freeport.
Contact us today, 516-403-2050, varsitymedia.net.
Welcome back to Plainedge High School, and off the opening or the ensuing kickoff after the latest Leone touchdown, Floral Park will look to rebound here and maybe close things out on a strong point. They've got the ball on their own 32-yard line. The score, as you see at the bottom of your screen, 34-6. It's not indicative, I think, of the way this game was, especially early on. It was such a close game.
This is just that type of game that you had missed opportunity after missed opportunity. They had chances to tie the game. They've had chances to actually go ahead. They had many opportunities inside the red zone, and they just failed to score. And a couple turnovers.
So Floral Park, there's the handoff, and it's Bonacore with the run out to about the 34-yard line. But Leone has been spectacular. He's in there. There you see him. How about these stats? Look at this. This is not a career. This is not a season. This is today for Leone. Just ridiculous numbers. And again, consider 302 tonight and 4 touchdowns. He came into this game, again, as Neuronis goes deep, and he's nearly picked off. Leone came into this game with 46 carries for 354 and 4 touchdowns. So he's doubled his touchdowns. He's practically doubled his yards gained. I mean, talk about a way, he's one of those honored before the game. We saw the senior night ceremony here live on the Varsity Media Sports Network, and Leone is having a day. We've seen it from different guys throughout the years, right? Of Valari, the Quinlans, and tonight it's the Joe Leone show.
100%. I've seen it many of times here.
Neuronis, again, the pressure comes from the outsides, ducks underneath, and again, kind of sniffing out there. Back-to-back plays by Vinny Cavallari, 15, nearly had a couple of INTs.
And that was good pressure. Again, they're making Neuronis step up in the pocket. They're trying to make him feel uncomfortable. And with 5:28 to go in this game, you started to see Plainedge start making some substitutions on the D-line and that linebacker right now. And I'm assuming that Joe Leone is probably done for the day. There's nobody back, returning this punt. And I don't foresee a fake punt now. Ooh, bad snap.
That's a great recovery, though, because on a wet surface, off the bounce, you get a good roll. That's not bad for Floral Park.
You know what I love? Coach Blumenstedt is their special teams coach, all right? And I've known Coach for a while. when they call fire on a bad punt, guys, you would think there's a fire on this field. They run to the sideline so fast, and it doesn't matter what sideline. They don't stand around. They don't stop, try to locate the ball. They hear fire. They just take off to the sideline.
You would think that the call was pizza, the way they run to the sideline, right? Pizza, let's go. Let's get some.
Right down the road, Phil's. Go get myself a nice mozzarella slice with tomato and balsamic drizzle. What, are you kidding me?
All right, Phil, you hear that? Phil's, come on. Let's get the sponsorship here on Varsity Media. Call Ben Turchin.
Would be nice if he bought me a slice.
So we will now see those substitutions that we expected. Shaver out. Looks like Leone out as well. And some of the guys waiting for their opportunity, the guys who battle hard at practice, and Carlo DeGiacomi, the junior. And he's had a great year as well, by the way. I mean, we're seeing what Leone does, but how about Carlo, 45 carries, 251 and 2 touchdowns coming in to this game. That backup running back, a hybrid kind of guy as well, linebacker, defensive back on the other side.
I'll bet you he's tough to tackle in practice.
Sure.
That's a nice 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
And he hasn't really had that many carries, and we're not even considering Pepe right now.
That's right. Inside handoff. So I don't have the abacus that you need to figure out PowerPoints. I mean, I think you've got the brain for that as a coach, but you kind of figured it before the start of this game. Plainedge wins, which they're 4 minutes away from doing. Number 2 seed.
2 seed.
Manhasset the 1.
That page will be the 3, and Floral Park will be the 4.
That's a good four-team playoff right there.
And Floral Park's first matchup with Manhasset, it was the same type of game. It wasn't indicative of the score, even though Manhasset came out on top. Plus, it was the first game of the year. So that's going to be an interesting matchup.
Ball run out to about the 41. I think it was DeGiacomi again.
Yes. And you see a lot of substitutions right now for both teams, which is smart. Right now, you're looking at that clock and you're saying, all right, let's make sure nobody gets hurt. Let's stay healthy. Let's keep the clock moving. You know, this is about getting ready for next week. Both teams know that they're in a playoff game next week. And you know, again, people are going to look at the score at 34-6, and this score is definitely not indicative of the way this game was played.
Fair catch called by Bonacore and takes a big-time Plainedge bounce. So we again remind you, as we are inside the final 3 minutes, a big football day on the Varsity Media Sports Network tomorrow. Got the JV game first between Garden City and Southside. My guy John Perez on the call for that. The varsity game, we got Matt Shortis calling that one. Garden City and Southside. And again, the machine that is Garden City football just continues to chug along. And then I'll be out at Oceanside. Massapequa, the 309 might not be there. It might not have that same crowd support that you're used to, but the game will be, as the kids say, lit. Right?
There'll be a crowd.
They'll find a way, right?
They'll find a way.
You can watch all those games right here. As a good first down run out to about the 20-yard line.
And that was Marco Montreal getting a few carries. And he's got that breakaway speed.
Oh, yeah. It's been a numbers game, really, is a thing. Like, you know, you look at him and you go, well, why hasn't he gotten more touches? But as you mentioned, look, it's been the Nolan show, and it's been Noronis and Bonacore as well. Bonacore, I think, the emergence of Bonacore has kind of taken the carries away from Montreal. But he just impacts the game defensively as that kind of lockdown corner.
100%. And that's a real nice tackle. And look at Plainedge guys lifting him up. You know, like I said, you know, this is a rough sport. You know, this is that gladiator sport. But you see Plainedge right there lifting Montreal up, showing good sportsmanship. You know, they could see each other in 2 weeks. Nobody knows what's going to happen. we talk about there's no guarantees with what's going on in this world today right now. So, this could be a matchup in 2 weeks from now. Who knows?
I think that was Pepe who had a tackle, and then the sportsmanship you mentioned. Running time here in the final 2 minutes. So it's a little bit of the, I don't know if you want to say back to the future, but a lot of the teams that we thought maybe would be near the top of each conference as we head into the postseason are there. You've got Oceanside, Massapequa battling for the number 1 seed in Nassau Conference 1, and of course Garden City in 2. You've got Manhasset and Plainedge here in 3 as well. So it should make for an entertaining, abbreviated postseason as well.
Yeah, a lot of if you look at the precedings this year, it almost held true to form, in most of the conferences.
Yeah, a little bit different here because Plainedge was the 1, but they're the 2.
Right, they're the 2.
Floral Park was the 4, so yeah.
But for the most part, you
yeah.
didn't see that big surprise team coming from like a 10 or an 11 seed. And that's when you play 8 games versus 6. So you didn't get those upsets or you didn't get those things.
So final few seconds here. Floral Park will not have another play, and senior night goes the way that so many other nights here at Plainedge go, with a victory for the Red Devils. They end the regular season with a 5-1 record. They beat Floral Park by a score of 34-6. The Knights of Floral Park, they end their regular season at 3-2. Both teams have more football to play. And as you mentioned, no quarterfinals. You've got 2 rounds of playoffs, but Mike should set up to be a fun one.
Yes, it should. I look forward to seeing a lot of what happens in the playoffs, but I want to get through tomorrow first.
He's got his coach hat on already.
Got to go home and watch some film.
He was the broadcaster, and then the final whistle goes, and Speen is back to Massapequa coach. And again, we've got the big game tomorrow, Massapequa Oceanside on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Should be a lot of fun. This one was fun as well. Plainedge found a way, made the big plays when they had to make the big plays, and they emerged victorious. I don't think we've certainly heard the last from either of these teams in the next 2 weeks, the postseason here on Long Island.
No, this game really comes down to mistakes and turnovers. And you said it, when the game started. Coach Pickett said, if you can limit the turnovers, eliminate the mistakes and the penalties, that they felt that they were going to be in this game and have a shot. And if you eliminate a couple of the turnovers and those penalties when they were inside the red zone, even inside the 10, this is a different game. This score is not indicative of this game. And give Plainedge credit. Plainedge caused these turnovers. Plainedge played not mistake-free, but they made less mistakes. And that's why they were victorious today.
So that about do it here from us from North Massapequa. Again, the final score, Plainedge 34 and Floral Park 6 for my broadcast partner, the coach Mike Spina, as well as Ron Pierre, the legendary Chris Sweeney, executive producer Ben Turchin, and the mayor of Seaford, Nick Louisi. I'm Dylan Butler, thanking you again for joining us, and a big football Saturday ahead. Make sure you check it all out right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Good night, everyone.